Today, the word drugs means something specific: crime, addiction, escape, something hidden, something to be ashamed of. But that is a very modern idea. For ancient humans, the plants that changed the mind were not an escape from the world. They were a doorway to another one. For tens of thousands of years across nearly every continent, humans deliberately took substances that gave them visions. And they didn't do it to party. They did it to speak with the dead, to meet their gods, to heal the sick and see the future, and touch a reality they believed was hidden just behind our own. The story of ancient humans and these plants is not a story about getting high. It's a story about the oldest search in human history, the search for something beyond the ordinary world. Let's begin with what they actually took. The evidence is real and it is everywhere. In a cave high in the Andes of Bolivia, archaeologists found a small pouch around 1,000 years old made from three fox snouts stitched together. Inside was a shaman's kit, carved tubes, and a snuffing tray. And when scientists tested the residue, they found traces of multiple powerful plant substances all at once. This was not a casual thing. This was a specialist, a person whose role in society was to take these plants, enter a trance, and travel to the spirit world on behalf of everyone else. And the Andes were far from alone. Across the ancient world, wherever humans lived, they found the plants that could unlock the mind and built entire religions around them. Traveled to the frozen forests of Siberia. There, shamans used a bright red mushroom with white spots, the fly agaric. Eaten in ritual, it produced visions and a sense of leaving the body. Some researchers even believe this mushroom, and the reindeer that also ate it, sit behind some of our oldest winter myths. Now travel to ancient India. The oldest Hindu scriptures, the Vedas, speak again and again of a sacred drink called Soma. Soma was not just a beverage, it was worshipped as a god. Priests drank it in ritual to touch the divine and gain the vision of the gods themselves. To this day, scholars still argue about which plant it actually was. Now go to the grasslands of Central Asia. The ancient Scythians, fierce nomadic horsemen, were described by the Greek historian Herodotus throwing cannabis onto hot stones inside closed tents and breathing the smoke until they howled with joy. For a long time, people wondered if this was just a legend. Then archaeologists digging in the mountains of western China found wooden braziers in 2,500-year-old graves, still holding burned cannabis residue, unusually high in the compound that alters the mind. The ancient accounts were true. These people were burning cannabis in their funerals, using it to commune with the dead, and it reaches back even into the ancient Mediterranean. The Sumerians, one of the first civilizations on Earth, wrote of the opium poppy. Their name for it translated to something like the joy plant, and in ancient Greece, one of the most important religious events of the entire ancient world was a secret ceremony called the Eleusinian Mysteries. For nearly 2,000 years, people traveled from across the Greek world to drink a sacred potion and undergo an experience so profound they were forbidden to speak of it. Many scholars now believe that potion contained a psychoactive substance, that the greatest philosophers of Greece may have had their vision of the afterlife inside a temple, under the influence of a mind-altering drink. But here's the part nobody talks about. Look at the pattern: Siberia, India, Central Asia, Sumer, Greece, the Andes, cultures separated by oceans and thousands of years, who never met, all did the same thing. They found the plants that could alter the mind, and they used them again and again, not for pleasure, but to reach their gods. This raises a staggering possibility. For 100 years, some researchers have argued that these experiences were not a side effect of religion. They may have been one of its sources. Think about it. An ancient human takes a sacred plant and suddenly sees blinding light, speaks with the dead, feels themselves lifted out of their body into another realm. To someone with no science, no other explanation, that experience would not feel like a hallucination. It would feel like proof that the spirit world is real, proof that the soul can leave the body, proof that there are gods, and that a human being can stand before them. Some of humanity's oldest ideas about the soul, about the afterlife, about the divine, may have first taken shape in the mind of an ancient human in a state of vision. And a few scientists have pushed this even further. There is a fringe theory. controversial and far from proven, that these mind-altering plants didn't just shape our religions, that deep in prehistory, they may have helped shape the human mind itself, sparking leaps in imagination and abstract thought. Most experts are skeptical, but even setting that aside, one thing is beyond doubt: the desire to alter consciousness, to step outside ordinary reality and glimpse something more, is not a modern weakness. It is one of the most ancient and universal human drives there is. So let's answer the question: what drugs did ancient humans take? They took the mushroom and the cactus, the poppy and the vine, the leaf and the sacred drink. They took them in caves and temples and funerals. They took them not to escape life, but to reach beyond it, to touch the gods, speak with the dead, and find meaning in a world that offered no easy answers. For ancient humans, these plants were among the most sacred things they possessed. And here is the part that should stay with you: strip away the plants, and what remains is a longing you already know: the wish to feel part of something vast, the pull toward wonder, toward awe, toward a moment where the small worries of life fall away and you sense something larger than yourself. Ancient humans reached for that feeling through sacred plants and fire-lit rituals. We still reach for it in music that gives us chills, in prayer and meditation, in a night under a sky full of stars that makes us feel impossibly small. The methods change, but the hunger underneath them has not changed at all. For as long as there have been humans, we have looked at the ordinary world and quietly wondered if there was something more. And we have always, in one way or another, tried to reach it. That reaching is not a modern habit. It may be one of the oldest and most human things about us.